Long before the world would recognize his voice, before the stages, the headlines, and the legacy, there was a child born into a reality shaped by resistance, struggle, and powerful ideas. Tupac Shakur did not come from a typical background. His life began within a family deeply connected to activism, where conversations about justice, equality, and survival were not abstract concepts, but everyday realities. His mother, Afeni Shakur, was not just a parent, she was a woman of strength, resilience, and conviction. As a member of the Black Panther Party, she carried both the weight and the purpose of a movement. Even before Tupac could fully understand the world around him, he was surrounded by voices that spoke about change, identity, and the importance of standing for something greater than oneself. Growing up, stability was not guaranteed. The environment around him constantly shifted. Financial hardship, uncertainty, and the challenges of urban life were part of his early experience. But within that instability, something rare began to develop: awareness. Tupac observed everything. He paid attention to people, emotions, struggles, and contradictions. He saw pain, but he also saw strength. He saw injustice, but he also saw resilience. These observations would later become the foundation of his artistry. As a child, he was not silent. He was expressive, curious, and emotionally aware in a way that stood out. While other children were still discovering themselves, Tupac was already processing the world deeply. His environment forced him to mature quickly, but it also gave him something invaluable: perspective. When he eventually moved to Baltimore, a new chapter began. It was here that he attended the Baltimore School for the Arts, a place that would help shape not just his talent, but his identity as an artist. He studied acting, poetry, jazz, and ballet. This combination of disciplines gave him a unique creative range that would later define his presence in music. As Tupac entered his teenage years, something began to take shape: not just talent, but direction. The experiences of his childhood had given him emotion, awareness, and perspective, but now he needed a way to express it. That outlet became art. At the Baltimore School for the Arts, Tupac found himself surrounded by creativity. This environment was different from anything he had experienced before. It was structured, disciplined, and filled with individuals who were passionate about their craft. Here, Tupac studied acting, which taught him how to embody emotion and step into different perspectives. He explored poetry, where he could translate his thoughts into words that carried rhythm and meaning. He engaged with music, learning how sound and emotion could merge into something powerful. But more importantly, he began to understand himself. Art gave him the ability to process everything he had seen growing up: the struggles, the contradictions, the hopes, and the realities. Instead of keeping those experiences inside, he transformed them into something expressive and meaningful. His poetry during this time reflected honesty and vulnerability. He wasn't trying to impress, he was trying to communicate. And that authenticity made his work stand out. At the same time, Tupac developed confidence. Performing in front of others, whether through acting or spoken word, helped him refine his presence. He learned how to hold attention, how to deliver emotion, and how to connect with an audience on a deeper level. But life outside of school remained challenging. The contrast between structured artistic training and real-world struggles created a dual perspective that would later define his music. He understood both worlds: the disciplined environment of art and the unpredictable nature of reality. When he later moved to the West Coast, this duality became even more pronounced. The environment was different, the energy was different, and the culture was evolving. Breaking into the music industry is rarely a direct path, and for Tupac, it began with humility, observation, and patience. His first real opportunity came when he joined Digital Underground, a group already making waves in the hip-hop scene. At first, his role was not glamorous. He worked as a backup dancer and a member of the crew, supporting the group behind the scenes and on stage. But this position gave him something invaluable: access. He was able to watch how the industry operated from the inside. He observed how performances were structured, how artists connected with audiences, and how music was produced and delivered. Instead of seeing his position as small, Tupac treated it as a learning experience. Every show, every rehearsal, every interaction became a lesson. But even in the background, his presence stood out. His energy, his charisma, and his passion were difficult to ignore. It became clear that he was not meant to stay behind the scenes. Eventually, he was given the opportunity to step forward. His appearance on Same Song marked his first official entry into recorded music. It was a moment that might have seemed small at the time, but it represented something much bigger, the beginning of his voice being heard. From that point forward, things began to change. Tupac was no longer just observing the industry, he was becoming part of it. And once he stepped into that space, he never looked back.
Sieh zu.